Yeah, I think first of all, I think it's my faith in God. It gives me my source of inspiration, and I think then after that, obviously, is my purpose, because I think every day I see it as an opportunity to make a difference in somebody's life.
Talking about changing the world, we are joined by a royal hustler through untempered passion. Erwin Tjipuka lives to positively engage and motivate people from all walks of life, igniting pure talent from within. He is a family man, married with 2 beautiful daughters. Erwin is a spiritual leader, a passionate mentor, and an organized disruptor, and a trendsetter of note. And again, that term, organized disruptor, we'll circle back to that one. It's quite an interesting one. Now, here's his background. Are you ready for this, guys? Erwin qualified as a CA in 2002. He holds a Bachelor's of Commerce degree from the University of Namibia, a postgraduate diploma in accounting from the University of Cape Town, and a Master's of Business Administration from the Maastricht School of Management. He started his career at Deloitte as a trainee accountant and rose through the ranks to become a senior manager in the audit division, and was also seconded to the New York office of Deloitte for 3 months. Now, following his career at Deloitte, he joined the FNB Namibia group as group finance manager and as a group chief financial officer at just the age of 33. He now holds the position of, get this, CEO of FNB Namibia since 2019. Erwin, good morning, and thank you very much for being our royal hustler today.
Good morning, Morris, and good morning to your listeners.
Quite an impressive resume there, yeah?
Thank you.
Before we get to that, we want to know how your childhood was like. Where were you born? How were you raised? Where in the country did you grow up in, and how that shaped the man that you are today?
No, definitely. I was, born and bred in the beautiful town of Namdeb, in the township of Namdeb. That's really where I grew up. That's what really shaped me. I grew up in a Christian home. I was raised by my grandmother, and she was a woman of faith. So a lot of who I am today is really as a result of the influence that she has had in my life. And so I had a loving home. We didn't have much as we were growing up, but I guess that in itself is part of what made me who I am, because I tend to appreciate the small things in life, but I think also it made me determined to make sure that to make sure that there is a better future for me and for my family. So yeah, that's really the natural who I am.
Now, growing up, were you a hair raiser? Did you give your parents any trouble? Were you?
No.
If I was to call them today, if I was to have a conversation with them today, no, he was fine.
No, I think I was a sweet child. I think.
Of course you'd say that.
No, I think really, I think, one of the things that I guess, a part of my upbringing, as I said, growing in a Christian home and so on, is that there are certain values that that becomes part of who you are. And so I really think that generally I don't think that I was a troublemaker. Yes, I tend to, I'm a disruptor, and I tend to think differently, and I think sometimes that didn't go well, but with people in terms of my views. And I guess also as I grew up, at some point when I got to understand the political landscape at the time that was pre-independence, I also became very opinionated on the situation as a child then. So I think that also didn't go well sometimes with even my own parents. So and I guess at the time people were leaving to go in exile, and I think that they thought that I could also be I might be leaving as well in exile. So I think that they started becoming a bit more protective to some extent in that. But I think other than that, I really think that I had a very good childhood.
Right. Talking about growing up in Tsumeb and in Nassau, what was your biggest dreams when you were growing up? What did you want to change in this world?
Yeah, so I think my grandmother always told me that, but apparently I really wanted to be a pastor at the time, But I realized later it was not sort of the pastor thing itself that was the issue. I think the issue was that I think it was early signs of my purpose, in terms of, because I really, my purpose is about influencing, is about motivating and inspiring people to be, sort of, which is what pastors do, so, to some extent. So I really, that was really my dream has always been to inspire people, to make a difference in people's life, to help people become a better version of themselves.
Right.
Yep.
Erwin, when your feet hit the ground, every morning, when your feet hit the ground this morning, what sets your soul on fire?
Yeah, I think, first of all, it's my faith in God. It gives me my source of inspiration. And I think then, after that, obviously, is my purpose. Because I think every day I see it as an opportunity to make a difference in somebody's life. And I think that in itself really gets me going. Starting at home, with my family, and then obviously and then wherever I go in that day and so on, I always see it as an opportunity to make a difference in somebody's life.
Make a difference in somebody's life.
Yeah.
We understand that one of your favorite quotes is by John Maxwell, which reads, "In life, there's always a price to pay.
Yes.
You either pay the price now and enjoy life later, or you can enjoy life now and pay the price later." Why is this so significant for you? What does this mean? And speak to us a bit about that.
Yeah, no. So that's definitely one of my, because I think that's a principle that I've always applied in my life as well. So I think this is really about, sometimes we get caught up with temporary, pleasure and fun. And then you actually forget that there is, sort of something bigger that you need to achieve. So often what happens is that people would focus at the time, especially when we were finishing our high school. It was a time when, obviously, shortly after independence, and the potential for you to get a job with a grade 12 and get a salary immediately was there, because you could go and work in a bank as a clerk or with the postal office or somewhere. But I chose to actually rather go study, and obviously when you study you don't have an income, etc. So it's a sacrifice that you make, right? And equally also, when I finished my degree, doing accounting article at the time was like, really you didn't get a good pay. So you had a choice at the time to go and have a better job, if I can call it that way. But that wouldn't have made me to be, or wouldn't have brought me to where I am today in terms of being a CA. So one has to make certain sacrifices so that you can actually have a better future for yourself, i.e. invest in your education. It's not easy. It's not fun when you sit and sometimes have to study or do something when everybody else is having fun. But that is life. You have to sometimes make these sacrifices so that so you suspend the temporary pleasure, so to say, or fun, and so that you can have it's better fun in future, because then you are better equipped, or better person at the time. Yes, yeah.
We are running out of time, unfortunately.
Yes,
but there are a couple of questions that I still want to get by you.
Yeah.
If we have listeners, if we have people that know you, that are familiar with your work, and people that are just familiar with you, and I'm like, wow, so inspirational. This is somebody that I want to emulate. What career advice, or even just life advice, would you want to share with them?
Yeah, so I always say that a career is like a journey, right? Like with any journey, I think direction is more important than the speed. Yeah. So what that means is, and because people talk about this career ladder and how do I get to the top of the ladder, etc. The reality is, and in doing so, people sometimes lose focus. That it is not so much the top of the ladder that is important. It is every step on that ladder. It's important, because that forms the foundation of of who you are when you get to up to the top of the ladder. So I think what is important is to make sure that you ground yourself, that you actually make sure that you've got a strong foundation that will keep you, sustain you in your career.
Right.
And then again in life, I think life will always knock you down from time to time. I think is the ability to be able to get up, dust yourself off, and move on.
Before I let you go, what legacy would you want to leave behind? What would you want to be known for?
Look, I really think that, for me, it's people talk about success versus significant, Success is about yourself.
Right.
Significance is the impact that you've made in other people's lives. So me, I think it's about, I want to live a life of significance. I want to be known as somebody who has transformed society, somebody who has inspired people, who has mentored people, and who have made a difference in society.
Make a difference in society. Erwin, thank you so much for being here with us this morning and sharing your story with us.
Thanks for having me.
And that was our royal hustler, Erwin Tjipuka, who is the current Chief Executive Officer of FNB Namibia, talking about his life, his inspiration, and of course, just living a legacy behind of significance. On that note, that was our royal hustler for this morning, 99 FM.